everyone, this is Mindy Eggen here for Tailored Expressions, and in today's video I am going to show you how to use the Counting Candles stamp set and the Layered Candles stencil. So here's a quick look at the stamp set, and then this is the Layered Candles stencil, which is actually 4 pieces. So you have 3 stencils that line up together to create these layered candles, and it'll give you a line of 5 of them. So what I'm going to do for today's video is we are going to create rainbow candles. So we're going to work in a little bit of masking. The colors that I'll be using today is Lollipop, Candy Corn, Lemon Meringue, Lime Zest, Cookie Monster, and I'll also be bringing in some pineapple. And I'm going to be doing all of my ink blending using the Tailored Expressions blending brushes. I'm going to be using the grid paper placemats from Tailored Expressions, which is going to be really helpful when it comes to lining up these stencils. First, I'm starting with a piece of sugar cube cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm adding a little bit of adhesive to the back and placing that right in the center. Then I'm going to add in my first layered stencil, lining it up with that 6 by 6 box that's on that placemat, holding it in place with Post-it tape, and I'm going to mask off my candle so I don't get any pink on that one because it's going to be a different color. So I'm starting with Lollipop ink, just adding a light layer of that ink onto that first candle. It's going to be the start of my rainbow, so kind of a modified rainbow. And you can see I'm adding some ink to those little squares. This is going to come in handy to help us line these candles up perfectly for those layers. Now really quick, I'm going to bring in this other stencil just to show you. This is the one that's going to add 2 candles in between. That means my second candle is on that stencil and it's going to be orange. So this next one here needs to be yellow. I wiped away any excess ink that was on my stencil and just shifted my Post-it note over to protect my other candle and brought in another piece of that Post-it note tape to protect the one on the other side. So it's keeping my rainbow colors all in one place. Once again, I'm just going to adjust that Post-it tape to mask off my other 2 candles so I don't mix my colors, and add Cookie Monster. Then I can lift up this first stencil and we will bring in the second layer, which is going to add the 2 candles in between. Now I'm using those squares on the side as my guide to help line this up perfectly. Once those are lined up, I'll hold that again in place with the Post-it tape. And then I'm going to mask off that one candle and we're going to start with Candy Corn. So it's going to work in the remaining colors of our rainbow. Once my orange is complete, I'll wipe away that excess ink off the top of the stencil, adjust that masking tape, and then we're going to bring in our final color, which is the Lime Zest, which is a really nice bright green. So we have a lot of very fun festive colors going on. Then we can lift up the stencil and we will bring in the third part of the layering, and that is going to fill in the lines of the candles. Now you can really have some fun with this and mix up your candle colors. I decided to keep it pretty plain and simple, so I'm just going to bring in the sea salt ink, and this is going to be just a really light gray. I wanted to keep my rainbow colors the way they were, so this will still give it a body to the candle without taking away from the rainbow. I'll go ahead and remove this stencil, and that's going to complete our candles, which look super fun. And we're going to bring in the flame. So notice once again, I'm lining up those placement squares so that these are going to be placed perfectly. There is a stamp that you can use to stamp the inside of the flame, but I'm going to do something a little bit different with this. I'm starting with the lemon meringue to ink blend on some yellow, and then I'm going to bring in some candy corn. So I'm kind of giving this a 2-tone effect, and I really love how this turned out. So I won't be adding the stamped flame portion. I'm just going to leave it ink blended. After all the ink blending is done and these flames are looking really super cool, I'm going to remove the stencil, and then to take this up off of the placemat, I'm just going to kind of pick it up from one of the corners, kind of twist and turn the paper a little bit. And once you twist and turn, that won't rip your paper, and then you can just rub away any of that adhesive that we had put on the back to hold that in place. Here's the Counting Candles stamp set. I wanted to give you a quick look at some of the different options that you have. There are some wicks here that you could add to your candles. You can stamp them in a dark gray or even a black. So that's how that would look. Or you can see right above those wicks are the inside portion of the flames that you could stamp. But like I said, I'm going to leave mine without the wicks or those flames, but I really love these stars. They fit nicely in between the flames, and this gives such a great festive look to the birthday card. So using my MISTI 2.0, I'm lining up those stars so they're going to fit kind of right in between the flames and the candles. And then I'm going to ink that up with the lemon meringue ink. After I stamp that down, I'm going to ink it up one more time just to make sure I have a really clean impression on here. Give it a nice push, and that's going to finish off the stars. I have a couple cards that I had played with off camera, and I just am going to use them to show you what these other images would look like. So here is one where you can stamp the wicks. I am just going to use some Oreo ink to do that. I didn't end up finishing these cards, but I just wanted to show you what it could look like. And then this would be the inside portion of the flame, or you could just stamp them instead of ink blending. So lots of different options with this stamp set and the layering stencil. To finish off my card, I'm going to be using just one of the sentiments off of the stamp set. There's a few of them that you can choose from. I'm going to go with Celebrating You. I really like the mix of these fonts, and it's just a really nice font to have for birthday cards. So I'll ink that up with the Oreo ink, making sure there's a really clean impression. And then after all this is done, I do attach this to a card base. So it's going to be 4¼ by 5½. Thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I'll see you again soon.